We're shipping Father's Day gifts with a rapid-fire round of questions. Ready?
Yes. My gift. Can you pack it?
Yep.
Ship it.
Yes.
Guarantee it.
Of course.
Oh, send a set of golf clubs.
Oh, hole in one.
Protect electronics. Dog-proof it. Return it if they hate it.
Yes, no, and yeah.
Are you the UPS store?
Hey, we have a winner!
Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Visit a store today.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 7/9 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Maximum initial battery voltage measured without a workload is 20 volts. Nominal voltage is 18.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hey everyone, welcome to Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Nicholas Buissereth, aka Just Mike, Just Miking.
I love it. Welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this.
Of course, thank you for having me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, everyone usually knows, like, oh, not everyone. I always say that I've always known that I was going to be a filmmaker. Like, I knew when I was a kid, like, that's what I wanted to do. Tell me from the beginning, like, what was it like growing up?
What was it like growing up? Well, I'm Haitian, and yeah, my parents are from Haiti. My dad's from Port-au-Prince. My mom's from Jeremy. In our culture, it's very, very education focused, very, very strict. My mother's a single parent. She raised me, and how did it work out? I was 7 years old. I always try to describe it like I was kind of like a slow kid. I really think I took some time because it took a long time for me to realize television was fake. I didn't know it was fake, honestly, for a long time. So, example, Chucky. When Chucky came out, I was in Brooklyn at the time, and I thought there's a doll in Brooklyn running around and killing people. I was so shocked because I was like, wait, why are we watching this? Why isn't anyone calling the police? It's like someone saved them. And I digress because then at some point I ended up watching What's Eating Gilbert Grape with Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know if anyone remember this, but spoiler alert, their mom dies. And Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp have to make the decision because their mom is very, very overweight. Have to make the decision whether to call a crane to get her out the house or burn the house with her inside of it. And as you can imagine, a 7-year-old kid watching and understanding that these grown adults are discussing burning their mother alive, or whatever the case may be, the fact that burning your mother, I freaked out. I was crying, like snot was coming down my nose. My mom rushes into the room like, what's wrong with me? And I'm hyperventilating, like, they're killing her. They're killing her. And everyone's watching this. This is wrong. Why are we watching this? And she had to really settle me down. She was like, Michael, no, it's not real. I was like, what? They're pretend. No, it's not pretend. Look. This is happening right now. It's happening. We can see them doing it right now. No, it's their job.
Yeah.
And she's like, they get paid to do this. And I was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, they're actors. And then ever since then, I was like, oh, I want to do that. That's how it started.
I want to go around stabbing people to death. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Isn't the power of movies? It's amazing. It's it's a beautiful thing. So okay, now that you tell your parents, I want to do that. What steps did you take in order to in moving in that direction?
None. At 7 years old, besides mimicking Michael Jackson and at some point all of Bruce Lee's moves and just mastering this mimicking, my parents kind of never really took that serious. It didn't happen till again, it didn't come back again to me until I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. I used to watch a lot of soap operas with my mom. I remember I was watching All My Children, and we used to love it. All My Children in the Hospital and One Life to Live. Just me and her would be on SoapNet and just hang out and just watch.
I love it.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like me and my mom liked soap operas, and then one day, we just saw a black boy on All My Children, and I remember I was watching it like really, my eyes like I zoomed in. And I saw this boy with braids, and he looked just like me. He was dark skinned, and I was like, man, I don't see a lot of dark skinned brothers on TV. And there's all these white people, and he's like, you know, they're really caring about this black boy. And I was like, oh my god, so we can do it. And like and I showed my mom, and my mom was like, oh my god. And then it was kind of a thing again, where it was like, this is not only pretend. The people are actually who are black or young are doing this. Look at this young kid doing it. So that means I can do it, right, Mom? That happened and kind of stayed in my mind for a long time. Of course, you had the struggles and adversities.
Yeah.
I'm 14. I got scouted by this very interesting. I'll say interesting because I don't know how to talk about these places. Interesting agency, which basically scouted me, recruited me, charged my mom $8,000 to send me on this showcase in LA.
Oh wow.
At 16. So after seeing Michael B 12 years, 4 years later, I'm just constantly trying to figure out, looking around, and then, you know, this happens, and I get this audition opportunity, which basically you're one of the few selected to go to this.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Beautiful talk they do. I remember my mom like thought I made it. She was like, "Oh my God, they sing," and you don't know much, really. Like us as minorities or just immigrants in general, we didn't know much about this business. We just saw another black boy that looked just like me doing it, and so we were figuring out. And we didn't know who to ask or what questions, and so it becomes very easy to get taken advantage of.
Yes.
I go to LA. I do the showcase. I crush it.
Nice.
And I get this agent in LA. And then
may I ask, what was your what did you do? Perform? Did you just come in and walk in?
You had to do monologues, and
oh wow,
yeah, you do monologues. And I've always I don't know, I've always been funny as a kid, so I kind of I'll roast. I'll start roasting adults and roasting the agents there. And just doing jokes and talking about experience as a 16-year-old kid, blah 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 blah, and they liked it.
Nice.
To the point where a few of them decided to talk to me about signing, but they were like convincing me that I had to drop out of high school, get my GED, and move to LA.
Wow.
I was like, what? No, you're crazy. My mom will come here, kill you, then kill you. Drop out? You kidding me? What are you talking about here? What is this? What is this you're saying right now? And so I had to put it on a back burner again. But I felt so guilty at 16 for a long time because we were poor. Basement, homeless, cars, like that kind of situation. So my mom and my stepfather and my older brother and my younger sister just came to be around 16. So she was born that year. And so it was kind of after I went to LA, the decisions that they were telling me I had to make, and knowing that my parents don't really understand what kind of industry this is and what I'm getting into, how long it could take, and it's just not an overnight thing. You never know, but it's just not enough, and we didn't have the money to keep that up. We couldn't like move, we couldn't pick up our bags and leave and all of this stuff, and I couldn't expect my family to want to do that for me. I have my siblings and everyone else around, and we were just struggling in general. So my mom just took a chance to see if this can happen, this thing, and it just showed that I knew something, and I just couldn't do it right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure that was a pretty nerve-wracking experience, especially at your tender age. You're just like, 100%. Wow, this is what it's like to be thrown in the wolves in a way, right? It's like, this is different.
Pretty much. You just kind of just go on this showcase and there's like mad agents and you're like 15 or 16 and they're just looking at you and you're auditioning in front of them, and sometimes they're receptive, sometimes quiet.
It's like, this is your value.
Like you go there and win, kid. If you don't win, that's it. It's over for you.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's like, whoa. It's crazy how early on we're introduced to that concept of, your worth, right? Kind of that quote unquote, like, this is if you're not this, then you don't have any worth. Or in a way, subconsciously, it does kind of weigh on you, and it does kind of somehow travels with you, and even in your adulthood, like with, acting. Because I'm sure acting is such a, judgmental world.
Mental fuck.
Yeah.
The world, mind warp. I say that you just have to build a resilience to believing who you are.
Right.
Build a strong. I don't only say for acting. I really think this is like what acting has showed me. Is that there's life lessons in everything.
Yeah.
In every career, right? So while we can try to say that the experience of rejection and approval and confidence and all this stuff is individualistic for actors, but it's not. Every career has that same hurdle, these same kind of opportunities. So you're judged no matter what you look like in any form, any job. You're before you even open your mouth, especially if you're black, especially if you're black and a woman. Black woman, like just imagine you can just keep adding more. You're black and woman. You're black woman and gay. You're black woman, gay, or trans or non. It's like as long it just gets worse and worse and worse for the things that they start labeling you, judging you, and putting your worth in.
Yeah.
That's in every career, in every job. Mm-hmm. And like we say, it's not only mutually exclusive to the minority experience. Women deal with it throughout.
Yeah, across the board. Yeah, it's so true. I'm sure you made your own. I'm sure you found out like you have to make your own content. If you don't make your own content, because waiting by the phone isn't the best, right? Because it's like sometimes it doesn't ring.
No.
So, like, I know that you made your own content. How was that? Like, talk about that a bit.
Wow. All right.
And why? Why did you do that?
I got dropped. I got dropped by my manager after I think it was 18 auditions.
Wow.
In a year of being with them. And they were just like, it was auditions for like features and like big, like it was like you're going against Michael B. You're just a new actor. You're auditioning for like roles with, for example, Medo and Tom Cruise, and you're going against Michael B for certain things, or your audition catalog is large.
Yeah.
Management is, like they normally should do is shoot for the stars, right? But also give those small lobs in the back end.
Yeah.
Those little, let's grab this co-star real quick. Let's grab this guest star real quick. And they didn't do that. And there's opportunities that happen where I did book those guest stars, but they just didn't want to do the flying and the local. And that's what happens as an actor when you get into like a kind of a bigger management, bigger agency. You're just new. You don't really know. I need this co-star. I need this guest star, because you think, they got me. I'll be with them forever. And then when you get dropped, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Those co-stars and guest stars that we just kind of like, we'll get the next one. We should have really said, no, we'll fly ourselves out. We'll do this. We'll get this part, because you don't know how far in between those books are, because you think like, I'll constantly keep booking, but you don't.
Yeah.
And so when I got dropped, I remember my friend Tarik Jackson, ReekSpeaks. I called him and I spoke to him about it, and it was like one of the most like unraveling things is that it's like having support, and then your support says, I'm not supporting you anymore. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit, that's what it's like? I thought we had all right, cool. And so I just, at that time, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and all this stuff was going on, and I was a huge Bernie supporter, and just kind of like trying to bring awareness to politics, because I really felt my generation in 2016 wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. And so I wrote Campaigns Anonymous. The minute I got dropped. Wow. I opened my laptop, typed up Campaigns Anonymous, did it, called Tarik, told him about my drop, kind of vented, cried, teared, do all the typical. Of course you cry. Of course you cry. It's a breakup. It's a terrible break. It's a breakup. Who doesn't cry when a breakup? You're like, how you gonna do this to me? After all the years, I did to you. You think you could do this to me? Just you wait. Just you wait. I'm gonna come up from this. And so we shot Campaigns Anonymous. And it killed.
Wow.
Like, it was. It killed in terms of Facebook killer. That's
great.
Yeah, right. It was like it was before YouTube, before you could go on Vine. Is before, not saying before, but it was not like you weren't streaming on YouTube like that. You weren't like killing it on YouTube instantly like that. I was from the college era. We did Facebook.
Yeah.
You get 5,000 Facebook shares. Yo, bro,
That's great.
Yeah. That means like 5,000 people fucks with you. You made that list, so it felt good. And the reciprocation from that was amazing. Just the people that were sharing it to the point where Killer Mike shared it on his Twitter.
Nice.
And gave me a shout out and everything. And I felt really, really validated in that moment that I kind of knew what I was doing as a writer, creator, and actor.
Yeah.
But it started also, you leave as we get on this whole thing. There's so many points in your life where you realize that you create things because of necessity, right? Because the opportunities that were supposed to be there aren't there, so you make things happen.
Right.
You graduate acting school, we do a showcase, and we didn't get a lot of agents and managers to come to the showcase.
Right.
I wrote and produced my own reel. I wrote, produced, directed, shot it, I was like, well, I have to have a reel, so let me make it. I can write it. I know exactly how I sound. I know exactly what I want to say. I know exactly the ebbs and flows I want. So let me try that. I did it. It's what got me signed. But then I kind of, as soon as I did that, I left the creative juices away. This is the thing we do. We get our power. We see our power that we have, and we give it away to someone else.
Wow, isn't that deep?
Isn't it? Isn't it how like you did something to get to somewhere for someone to finally say, yo, you're good, kid.
Wow.
Oh, thank you so much. It's like getting into the NBA, like, oh, I made it. Oh, thank you so much. And then you stop working out.
Yeah.
You're like, hold on.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's so crazy that the power situation, it is a thing. It's like, that's why I say it's always about ownership and creating things and something that belongs to you where it doesn't go away. Like I'm all about creating and ownership, because that's when you truly have something. I mean, it's interesting. I think as a creator, sometimes we think it's great to be on, don't get me wrong, it's great to be on Warner Brothers and Fox. It's great, but they're already established, right? Yeah. So it's like, how do you make yourself as individual establish a name with so much competition, so much out there, so many like you said, streaming. There's so much constantly being in our faces. So I think, like you said, it's where it's at. It's creating.
Yeah, it's just like what you said, like that whole thing. How do you compete in a market that just constantly flooded every day?
It's crazy.
It's when we just, I think we spoke one time, and I said when we stop seeing it, not as competition in terms of what we're trying to do, but providing a service, right?
Right.
There's a different way of how your interactions in the world is, and you can only create that version in that story, and your experience is individualistic. So there's no way that I can create a story. Even hearing you tell me a story, I can't write it in the voices you hear in your head.
Gotcha.
So we all have that, that ownership, that power that we can just continue doing our own thing, and before we lose that in terms of what we're trying to do with everything else.
Yeah. Do you think the industry is changing and there's more diverse voices, not only just in front of the camera, but also behind the scenes? Do you think there is change?
I think a resonance is happening. I do. That we're collectively seeing that there's been an issue for a while, and we're trying to make some small incremental changes, but to expect things to happen after 4 years. When was Oscar So White?
Yeah, that's like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, right?
Not long.
Oscar So White's 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think in 5 years they done overhauled and change the grip dude who's always white and big, change the set designer who's always white and female or white and male, majority white and males, and just basically all these little key positions. I'm pretty sure they didn't change it to make it inclusive of everyone who could actually do those positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been happening for too long. These guys built resumes. They have history. There's relationships and connections that's been established for so long. So how are you expecting Tom, who's been hiring Fred for like 17 years, to all of a sudden, hey, Fred, I can't hire you this year. I have to hire Tarik because, you know, it's real right now. It's being hot.
Yeah.
I've only hired you for 14 years while Tarik has been able to do the same job, but I just kind of ignore him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to do this? Like, I know there's a lot of people that want to get in this business, but what would you say, you know, to them?
It's long. It's long. And everything is long. Everything is really long, right? Anything you want, anything you're working towards is long. Whether it's a girl, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, marriage, kids, you know, graduating college, high school, all of it is long. Nothing really great happens short, right? And so if you see it as long and there's a long path ahead of you, that no matter what's happening along the path, you'll realize that as long as I keep walking the path, I'll get to the end eventually.
That's it.
Imagine like just living your life, going on a path that's already been set. That's what scared me the most growing up, because my parents were so strict about what they wanted me to do. And I was like, but I don't know, what about my life? I want my life. I want my choices. To the point where even when I went to college, I chose economics as my major. Because I couldn't choose theater because my parents would flip out.
Yeah.
I couldn't major in theater, so I had to take a lot of minor electives up to the point where it was almost my double major, but it required too much writing. I was like, yeah, nah, no more history, no more theater history. But what I'm saying to say is that on this path that we take, it's a long journey, and if you're okay with taking this long journey, you're going to enjoy it, because you'd rather take this long journey or something you like and want to do and spend your life doing a long journey doing something else someone told you to do. That's the biggest fear I have.
I love that. Are you working on anything at the moment?
Yeah, actually, currently.
Yeah.
It's what are we talking about? Currently, I'm working on a project called My Living Will.
Nice.
It's going to be released soon, so I kind of don't want to talk about the details of that one.
Yeah.
It's just currently the climate we're at as African Americans, minorities in general, and dealing with brutality all over, politics, and it's just a fear of what's going on. So I had to create this piece with a lot of actors and just regular professionals, individuals who just want to make their voices heard in a certain way, and we're just trying to portray that message of humanity and who we are. So that's, and one of the main ones I'm working on is my pilot. Is called Remnant. It's about a post-apocalyptic future where people are just a dystopian society.
Nice.
All the Earth's resources have been harvested, so people start harvesting from the graveyard.
Ooh.
I know, right? I'm sci-fi-ish, right?
I like it.
On my Game of Thrones-ish.
Well, I'm excited to see that. Where can people find you and all that good stuff and follow you?
You can follow me at Just Myken, JUSTMYKEN, Just Myken at IG, just_Mike, MYKE, JUSTMYKE on Twitter.
All right, cool. I have a really fun question. I always ask every guest on the show, and I think it's really funny, and it's totally off topic. Well, it's on topic. What if there was a biopic based on your life, who would play you?
If there was a biopic based on my life, who would I choose?
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Right? Who would play me in my biopic, man? It will have to be Keenan. You know Keenan?
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Keenan don't get it. Me and Keenan was exactly alike. all through youth, like just in everything. And so I think Keenan gets exactly where I would be going and towards. So I
love it. That's a good one. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was such a pleasure talking to you and just picking your brain. You're amazing. And I'm excited to see what you're working on and all the things that you're going to come out with and just your journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. Yet again, a wonderful episode. Until next time, remember to live, love, laughs.